Chapter 4 Moderation in Yoga. In the sixth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the system of Sankhya Yoga, which is the meditational Ashtanga Yoga system, is emphasized. Jnana Yoga emphasizes the philosophical process of analysis by which we determine what is Brahman, what is not Brahman. This process is known as Neti Neti process, or not this, not that. In the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Janmadi Asayata. The Supreme Brahman, the Absolute Truth, is He from whom everything emanates. This is a hint, and from this we must try to understand the nature of the Supreme Brahman, from whom everything is emanating. The nature of that absolute truth is explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadi ase yato navyad itaratas chatushevu abhijanah swarat. Tene Brahma hridayadhe adi kaviye muhanti yat surya. Tejo vari mardam yatha vinimayo yatra tri sargo masha. धामना शिवेना सदा निरस्ता कुहुकाम सत्यम परम धीमहि. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudev, O all pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universe. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestation, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge onto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the greatest sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reaction of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existence in the transcendental abode, which is forever, free from the illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Thus, from the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the absolute truth is proclaimed to be cognizant. He is not dead or void. And what is the nature of his cognizance? Anvyad itaratas charteshu. He is directly and indirectly cognizant of all manifestation. To a limited degree, each and every living entity is cognizant. But we are not completely cognizant. I may claim, this is my head, but if someone asks me, do you know how many hairs are in your head? I will not able to reply. Of course, this kind of knowledge is not transcendental, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the Supreme Absolute Truth knows everything, directly and indirectly. I may know that I am eating, but I do not know the intricacy of the eating process, how my body is exactly assimilating food, how the blood is passing through my veins, etc. I am cognizant that my body is functioning, but I do not know how these processes are working perfectly and all at once. This is because my knowledge is limited. By definition, God is He who knows everything. He knows what is going on in every corner of His creation. Therefore, from the very beginning, Srimad Bhagavatam explained that the Supreme Absolute Truth from whom everything is emanating is supremely cognizant, Abhinijanaha. One may ask, if the Absolute Truth is so powerful, wise, and cognizant, he must have attained this knowledge from similar being. This is not the case. If he attains his knowledge from someone else, he is not God. So Vrat, he is independent. His knowledge is automatically come there. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme combination of both the Jnana and Bhakti Yoga system because it analyzes in details the nature of the Supreme Being from whom everything is emanating. By the Jnana Yoga system, one attempts to understand the nature of the Absolute Truth in a philosophical way. In the Bhakti Yoga system, the target is the same. This methodology, however, is somewhat different. Whereas the Janani attempts to concentrate his mind philosophically on the Supreme, The Bhakta simply engages himself in the service of the Supreme Lord and the Lord reveals himself. The Janana method is called the ascending process and the Bhakti method is called the descending process. If we are in the darkness of night, we may attempt to attain the sunlight by ascending in a powerful rocket. According to the descending process, however, we simply wait the sunrise and then we understand immediately. Through the ascending process, we attempt to reach the Supreme through our own endeavor. Through the process of induction. By induction, we may attempt to find out whether man is mortal by studying thousands of men, trying to see whether they are mortal or immortal. This is, of course, will take great deal of time. If, however, I accept from a superior authority the fact that all men are mortal, my knowledge is complete and immediate. Thus, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, my dear Lord, a person who has received a little favor from you can understand you very quickly. But those who are trying to understand you by the ascending process may go on speculating for millions of years and still never understand you. By mental speculation, one is more likely to simply reach a point of frustration and confusion and conclude, oh, God is zero. But if God is zero, how are so many figures emanating from Him? As the Vedanta Sutra says, Janmadi Asayatha. Everything is generating from the Supreme. Therefore, the Supreme cannot be zero. We have to study how so many forms or so many infinite living entities are being generated from the Supreme. This is also explained in the Vedanta Sutra, which is the study of the ultimate knowledge. The word Veda means knowledge, and Anta means ultimate. Ultimate knowledge is knowledge of the Supreme Lord. So, how is it possible to understand the form of Krishna? If it is stated that God does not have eyes, limbs, or senses like ours, how are we to understand his transcendental senses, his transcendental form? This is not possible by mental speculation. We simply have to serve him. Then he will reveal himself to us. As Krishna himself states in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham evanukam fartam aham ajna jamam tamaha nasiyami atma bhavastho janana dipena bhashvata. Out of compassion for them, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Krishna is within us, and when we are sincerely searching for Him by the devotional service process, He will reveal Himself. Again, as stated in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanti, Yavan Yaschasami Tatvaha, Tato Mam Tatvato Yatva, Vishate Tad Anatram, Visate Tad Anataram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as He is only by devotional service, and when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, God has to be understood by this process of Bhakti Yoga, which is the process of Sharanam Kirtanam Vishnu, hearing and chanting about Vishnu. This is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga process. If we but hear sincerely and submissively, we will understand Krishna. Krishna will reveal Himself. Sharunam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Dandanam, Dasyam. There are 9 different processes in the Bhakti Yoga system. By Vandanam, we offer prayers. That is also Bhakti. Shravanam is hearing about Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and other Shastras. Kirtanam is chanting about his glory, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. This is the beginning of the Bhakti Yoga process. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Everything is Vishnu, and meditation is on Vishnu. It is not possible to have bhakti without Vishnu. Krishna is the original form of Vishnu. Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. Krishna is the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we but follow this Bhakti Yoga process, we should be able to understand the Supreme. All doubts should be removed. The Stanga Yoga process is outlined very specifically in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. I'm not going to read this Sanskrit. As you know that my pronunciation of Sanskrit is not so good. So I continue to in English. One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of nose. By the way, sometimes my pronunciation of English is not very appropriate, but I try to improve myself. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Yoga does not mean going to some class, paying some money, engaging in gymnastic, and then returning home to drink, smoke, and engage in sex. Such yoga is practiced by society, the cheaters and cheated. The authoritative yoga system is here outlined by the supreme authority Sri Krishna himself. It is there a better yogi than Krishna? Is there is any better yogi than Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead? First of all, one has to go alone to a holy place and sit in a straight line, holding one's body, neck, and head erect and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Why is this? This is a method to help concentrate one's mind. That's all. The real purpose of yoga, however, is to keep oneself always aware that Lord Krishna is within. One of the dangers of sitting in meditation and staring at the tip of one's nose is that one will fall asleep. I have seen many so called meditators sitting like this and snoring like that. As soon as one closes his eyes, it is natural to feel sleepy, and therefore it is recommended that the eyes are half closed. Thus, it is said that one should look at the tip of the nose. With one side thus concentrated, the mind should be subdued and unagitated. In India, the yogi often goes to a jungle to practice such meditation in solitude. But in jungle, the yogi may think, maybe some tiger or snake is coming. What is that noise? In this way, his mind may be agitated. Therefore, it is specially stated that the yogi must be devoid of fear. The deer skin is specially recommended as yoga asana because it contains a chemical property that repels the snake. Thus, the yogi will not be disturbed by the serpents. Whatever the case, serpent, tigers, or lions, one can be truly fearless only when established in Krishna consciousness. Due to perverted memory, the conditioned soul is naturally very fearful. I am some exaggerating this. It's naturally fearful. The fear is due to the forgetting one eternal relationship with Krishna. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhayam. Oh, I am skipping this. Krishna consciousness provides the only true basis for fearfulness. Therefore, perfect practice of yoga is not possible for one who is not Krishna consciousness. The yogi must also be completely free from sex life. If one indulges in sex, he cannot concentrate. Therefore, brahmacharya, complete celibacy, is recommended to make the mind steady. By practicing celibacy, one cultivates determination. One modern example of such determination is that of Mahatma Gandhi, who was determined to resist the powerful British Empire by means of non-violence. At this time, India was dependent on the British and the people had no weapons. The Britishers, being more powerful, easily cut down whatever violent revolution the people attempted. Therefore, Gandhi resorted to non-violence, non-cooperation. I shall not fight with the Britishers, he declared, and even if they react with violence, I shall remain non-violent. In this way, the world will sympathize with us. Such a policy required a great amount of determination, and Gandhi determination was very strong because he was a brahmachari. Yes, that is the um, benefit of become a brahmachari. Although he had children and wife, he renounced sex at the age of 36. And it was this sexual renunciation that enables him to be so determined that he was able to lead his country and drive the British from India. Thus, refraining from sex enables one to be very determined and powerful. It is not necessary to do anything else. This is a secret this is a secret people are not aware of. If you want to do something with determination, you have to refrain from sex, regardless of the process, be it a Hatha Yoga system, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or whatever. Sex indulgence is not allowed. Sex is allowed only for householder who want to beget good children and raise them in Krishna consciousness. Sex is not meant for sense enjoyment, although enjoyment is there by nature. Unless there is some enjoyment, why should one assume the responsibility of begetting children? This is the secret of nature gift. but we should not take advantage of it. These are the secrets of life. By taking advantage and indulging in sex life, we are simply wasting our time. If one tells you that you can indulge in sex as much as you like at the same time become a yogi, he is cheating you. If some so-called gurus tell you to give him money in exchange for some mantra and that you can go on and engage in all kinds of nonsense, he is just cheating you. Because we want something sublime and yet want it cheaply, we put ourselves in a position to be cheated. This means that we actually want to be cheated. If we want something valuable, we must pay for it. We cannot expect to walk into a jewelry store and demand the most valuable jewel for a mere 10 cent. No, we must be pay a great deal. Similarly, if we want perfection in yoga, we have to pay by abstaining from sex. Perfection in yoga is not something childish. And the Bhagavad Gita instructs us that if we try to make yoga into something childish, we will be cheated. There are many cheaters awaiting us and waiting to take our money, giving us nothing, and then leaving. But according to Sri Krishna, authoritative statement in Bhagavad Gita, one must be completely free from sex life. Being free from sex, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. This is a real meditation. Krishna does not recommend meditation on the void. He specifically states, meditate upon me. The Vishnu Murti is situated in one's heart. Meditation upon him is the object of yoga. This is the Sankhya Yoga system, as first practiced by Lord Kapila Dev, an incarnation of God. By sitting straight, staring steadily at the tip of one's nose, subduing one's mind, and abstain from sex, one may be able to consider the mind of the Vishnu Murti situated within the heart. When we refer to the Vishnu form or Vishnu Murti, we refer to Sri Krishna. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we are meditating directly on Sri Krishna. This is the process of practical meditation. The members of this movement are concentrating their minds on Krishna regardless of their particular occupation. One may be working in the garden and digging in the earth, but he is thinking, I am cultivating beautiful roses to offer to Krishna. One may be cooking in the kitchen, but he is always thinking, I am preparing a palatable food to offer to Krishna. Similarly, chanting and dancing in the temple are forms of meditating on Krishna. Thus, the boys and girls in this society for Krishna consciousness are perfect yogis because they are meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day. Because they are meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day. We are teaching the perfect yoga system, not according to our personal whims, but according to the authority of Bhagavad Gita. Nothing is concocted or manufactured. The verses of the Bhagavad Gita are there for all to see. The activities of the Bhakti yogis in this movement are so molded that the practitioner cannot help but think of Krishna at all the times. Meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life, Sri Krishna Swam says. This is the perfect yoga system, and one who practices it prepares himself to transfer to Krishna Lok. युञ्जन एव सदात्मनं योगी नित्य मनसः शांतिम निर्वाण परमं मत समस्थाम अधिगच्छति. Thus, practicing control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalists attained the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. It is stated in the Sanskrit in this verse, Shantim Nirvana Paramam, that one is attained peace through Nirvana Paramam, or the cessation of material activities. Nirvana does not refer to void, but to putting an end to materialistic activities. Unless one puts an end to them, there is no question of peace. Where Hiranyakashipu asked his 5-year-old son Prahlad Maharaj, my dear boy, what is the best thing you have thus far learned? Prahlad Maharaj immediately replied, Tada sadhu manya surya varya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyam asad grahat. My dear father, O greatest of the demons, materialistic people are always full of anxieties because they have accepted as real that which is non permanent. The word asad grahat is important because it indicates that materialists are always hankering to capture or possess something that is non permanent. History affords us many examples. Mr. Kennedy was a very rich man who wanted to become president, and he spent a great deal of money to attain that elevated position. Yet, although he had a nice wife, children, and the presidency, everything was finished within a second. In the material world, people are always trying to capture something that is non permanent. Unfortunately, people do not come to their senses and realize, I am permanent, I am spirit soul, why am I hankering after something that is non permanent? Hmm. We are always busy acquiring comfort for this body without considering that today, tomorrow, or in 100 years, this body will be finished. As far as the real I is concerned, I am a spirit soul. I have no birth. I have no death. What then is my proper function? When we act on the material platform, we are engaged in bodily functions. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj said that the people are anxious because all their activities are targeting to capture and possessing something non permanent. All living entities, man, beast, birds, or whatever, are full of anxiety, and this is the material disease. If we are always full of anxiety, how can we attain peace? People may live in a very nice house, but out front they place sign be aware of dog or no trespassers. This means that although they are living comfortably, they are anxious that someone will come and molest them. Sitting in an office and earning a very good salary, a man is always thinking, oh, I hope I don't lose this position. The American nation is very rich, but because of this, it has to maintain a great defense force. So, who is free from anxiety? The conclusion is that if we want peace without anxiety, we have to come to Krishna consciousness. There is a no alternative. In order to attain peace, we must meditate on Krishna. By meditating on Krishna, we can control the body. The first part of the body is to control is the tongue, and the next part is the genital. When these are controlled, everything is controlled. The tongue is the controlled by chanting and eating Krishna Prasad. As soon as the tongue is controlled, the stomach is controlled, and next the genitals is controlled. Actually, controlling the body and the mind is very simple process. When the mind is fixed on Krishna and has no other engagement, it is automatically controlled. Activities should always be centered on working for Krishna. Gardening, typing, okay, cooking, cleaning, whatever, by engaging the body, mind, and activity in the service of Krishna, one attains the supreme nirvana, which abides in Krishna. Everything is in Krishna, therefore, we cannot find peace outside Krishna consciousness activities. The ultimate goal of yoga is thus clearly explained. Yoga is not meant for attaining any kind of material facility. It is to enable the cessation of all material existence. As long as we require some material facility, we will get them, but this facility will not solve the problems of life. I have traveled throughout the world, and it's my opinion that American boys and girls have the best material facility. But does this mean that they have attained peace? Can anyone say, yes, I am completely peaceful? If this is so, why are American youngsters so frustrated and confused? As long as we practice yoga in order to attain some material facility, there will be no question of peace. Yoga should only be practiced in order to understand Krishna. Yoga is meant for the establishment of our relationship with the Krishna. Generally, one joins a yoga society in order to improve his health, to reduce fat. People in rich nation eat more, become fat, and then pay exorbitant price to so-called yoga instructor to order to reduce. People try to reduce by this artificial gymnastics. They do not understand that if they eat vegetables or fruits and grains, they will never get fat. People get fat because they eat voraciously, because they eat meat. People who eat voraciously suffer from diabetes, overweight, heart attacks, etc. and those who eat insufficiently suffer from tuberculosis. Therefore, moderation is required, and in moderation in eating means that we eat only what is needed to keep body and soul together. If we eat more than we need or less, we will become diseased. All this explained in the flowing verses. नाति अस्नतास्तु योगोस्ति न चैकन्तं अनासनतः न चाति स्वप्नशिलासया जागरतो नैव चारुजुना. There is no possibility of one's become a yogi. O Arjun, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much, nor or does not sleep enough, युक्त आहार विहरस्य युक्त चेतसा कर्माशु युक्त स्वप्नाभयो धस्य योगो भवति दुःखः. He who is temperate in his habits of eating, sleeping, working, and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. It is not that we are to starve ourselves, the body must be kept fat for any practice. Therefore, eating is required, and according to our program, we eat only Krishna Prasad. If you can eat comfortably, eat 10,000 of a food, 10 pounds of a food a day, then eat it. But if you try to eat 10 pounds out of greed or avarice, you will suffer. That is the point. So, in the practice of Krishna consciousness, all these activities are present, but they are spiritualized. The cessation of material existence does not mean entering into the void, which is the only myth. There is no void anywhere within the creation of the Lord. I am not void but spirit soul. If I were void, how would my bodily development take place? Where is this void? If you sow seed in the ground, it grows into plants or large tree. The father injects the seed into the womb of mother. The body grows like a tree. Where is this void? In the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, Sarva yonishu kontaya murtya sambhavanati yaha tasam brahma mahayonir aham bija pradapita. It should be understood that all the species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. The seed is originally given by Krishna, placed in the womb of material nature, and thus many living entities are generated. How can one argue against this process? If the seed of existence is void, how has this body developed? Nirvana actually means not accepting another body. It is not that we attempt to make this body void. Nirvana means making the miserable, material, conditional body void. That is, converting the material body into a spiritual body. This means entering into the kingdom of God, which is described in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Na tad bhasyate suryo na shanshko na pravakaha yad gatva na nivrantate tad dhama parmam mama. That abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by electricity. One who reaches it never returns to this material world. So there is no void anywhere within the Lord's creation. All the planets in the spiritual sky are self illuminated, like the sun. The kingdom of God is everywhere, but the spiritual sky and the planets thereof are all Paramam Dham, or superior abodes. As stated, sunlight, moonlight, or electricity are not required in the Param Dham. We cannot find such a abode within this universe. We may travel as far as possible within our spaceship, but we will not find any place where there is no sunlight. The sunlight is so extensive that it pervades the universe. Therefore, that abode in which there is no sunlight, moonlight, or electricity is beyond this material sky. Beyond this material nature is a spiritual nature. Actually, we know nothing of this material nature. We do not even know how it was originally formed. So, how can we know anything about the spiritual nature beyond? We have to learn from Krishna, who lives there, otherwise, we remain in ignorance. In this Bhagavad Gita, information of the spiritual sky is given. How can we know anything about that which we cannot reach? Our senses are so imperfect. How can we attain knowledge? We just have to hear and accept. How will we ever know who our father is unless we accept the words of our mother? Our mother says, "Here is your father," and we have to accept this. We cannot determine our father by making inquiries here and there by attempting to experiment. This knowledge is beyond our means. Similarly, if we want to learn about the spiritual sky, God's kingdom, we have to hear from the authority, Mother Vedas. The Vedas are called Vedamata or Mother Vedas because the knowledge imparted therein is like that knowledge received from the mother. We have to believe in order to acquire knowledge. There is no possibility of acquiring this transcendental knowledge by experimental or by experimenting with our imperfect senses. A consummate yogi who is perfect in understanding Lord Krishna, as in clearly stated herein, Shantim Nirvan Paramam Mat Smastham Mat Samstham Abhi Adhigapachati, if by the Lord Himself, can attain real peace and ultimately reach the supreme abode of Lord. This abode is known as Krishna Lok or Golok Vrindavan. In Brahma Samhita it is clearly stated Golok Eva Nivastati Akilatma Bhutaha, that the Lord, although residing always in his abode called Golok, is the all pervading Brahman and the localized Paramatma as well. By dint of his superior spiritual energies, no one can reach the spiritual sky or enter into the eternal abode of the Lord, Venkut, Golok Vrindavan, without properly understanding Krishna and his plenary expansion Vishnu. And according to Brahma Samhita, it is necessary to learn from our authorized mother, Vedamata. Brahma Samhita states that the Supreme Lord is living not only in his abode Golok Vrindavan but everywhere. Golok eva nivastati, Akhilatma Bhuta. He is like the sun, which is the millions of miles away, and yet he is still present within this room. In conclusion, the person who works in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi because his mind is always absorbed in Krishna activity. Sa vei mana Krishna padaravindo. In the Vedas, we also learn tam eva viditvati mrityum iti. One can overcome the path of birth and death only by understanding the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna. Thus, perfection of yoga is the attainment of freedom from material existence and not some magical jugglery or gymnastic feast to be full innocent people. In this system of yoga, moderation is required. Therefore, it is stated that we should not eat too much or too little, sleep too much or too little, work too much or too little. All these activities are therefore because we have to execute the yoga system with this material body. In other words, we have to make the best use of a bad bargain. The material body is a bad bargain in the sense that it is the source of all miseries. The spirit soul does not experience miseries. And the normal condition of the living entity is healthy spiritual life. Misery and disease occur due to material contamination, disease, infection. So, in a sense, material existence is a disease condition of a soul. And what is that disease? The answer is not great mystery. The disease is this body. This body is actually not meant for me. It may be my body, but it is a symptom of my disease condition. In any case, I should identify with this body no more than I should identify with my clothes. In this world, we are all differently dressed. We are dressed as red men, brown men, white men, black men, yellow men, etc. Or as Indians, Americans, Hindus, Muslim, Christian, etc. All these designations are not symptomatic of our actual position but of our diseased condition. The yoga system is meant to cure this disease by connecting us again with the Supreme. We are meant to connect it with the Supreme just as our hand is meant to be connected to our body. We are a part and parcel of the Supreme. Just as the hand is a part and parcel of the body, when the hand is severed from the body, it is valueless. But when it is joined to the body, it is invaluable. Similarly, in this material condition, we are disconnected from the God. Actually, the word disconnected is not precise because the connection is always there. God is always supplying all our necessities. Since nothing can exist without Krishna, we cannot be disconnected from Him. Rather, it is better to say that we have forgotten that we are connected to Krishna. Because of this forgetfulness, we have entered the criminal department of the universe. The government still take care of its criminal, but they are legally disconnected from the civilian state. Our disconnection is a result of our engaging in so many non-cycle activities instead of utilizing our senses in the performance of Krishna consciousness duties. Instead of thinking I am the eternal servant of God or Krishna, we are thinking I am the servant of my society, my country, my husband, my wife, my dog, or whatever. This is called forgetfulness. How is this came about? All these misconceptions have arisen due to this body. Because I was born in America, I am thinking that I am an American. Each society teaches its citizens to think in this way. Because I am thinking that I am American, the American government can tell me, come and fight, give your life for your country. This is all due to the bodily conception. Therefore, an intelligent person should know that he is suffering miseries due to this body, and that he should not act in such a way that he will continue to be imprisoned within a material body birth after birth. According to Padam Puran, there are 84 lakh species of life, all are but different forms of contamination. Whether one has an American body, an Indian body, and a dog body, or a hog body, or whatever. Therefore, the first instruction in yoga is I am not this body. Attaining liberation from the contamination of the material body is the first teaching of Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, after Arjuna told Sri Krishna, I shall not fight, the Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. In other words, Arjuna was thinking on the bodily platform. He wanted to leave the battlefield because he did not want to fight with his relative. All his conceptions were within the bodily atmosphere. Therefore, after Arjuna accepted Sri Krishna as the spiritual master, the Lord immediately chastised him, just as a master chastises his disciple in order to teach him. Essentially, Sri Krishna told Arjuna, you are talking very wisely, as if you know so many things, but actually you are speaking nonsense because you are speaking from the bodily position. Similarly, people throughout the world are posing themselves as very highly advanced in education, science, philosophy, politics, etc. But their position is on the bodily platform. A vulture may rise very high in the sky, 7 or 8 miles, and it is wonderful to see him flying this way. He also has powerful eyes, or he can spot and carcass from a great distance. Yet, what is the object of all this? Yet, what is the object of all this great qualification? A dead body, a rotting carcass. His perfection is just to discover a dead piece of meat and eat it. That's all. Similarly, we may have a very high education, but what is our objective? Sense enjoyment, the enjoyment of this material body. We may rise very high with our spaceship, but what is the purpose? Sense gratification, that's all. This means that all our striving and all this high education are merely on the animal platform. Therefore, we should first of all know that our miserable material condition is due to this body. At the same time, we should know that this body is not permanent. Although I identify with my body, family, society, country, and so many other things, how long will this object exist? They are not permanent. Asat is a word meaning that they will cease to exist. Asan api kaleshada asadeha. The body is simply troublesome and impermanent. Many people come to us saying, Swamiji, my position is so troublesome, but as soon as we suggest the medicine, they will not accept it. This means that people want to manufacture their own medicine. Why do we go to physician if we want to treat ourselves? People want to accept only what they think to is palatable. Although we are suggesting that this body is useless and is a form of contamination, we are not recommending that it to be abused. We may use a car to carry us to work, but this does not mean that we should not take care of the car. We should take care of the car for it to carry us to and fro, but we should not become so attached to it that we are polishing it every day. We must utilize this particular body in order to execute Krishna consciousness, and to this end we should keep it fit and healthy. We should not become too attached to it. This is called yukta viragya. The body should not be neglected. We should bath regularly, eat regularly, sleep regularly in order to keep mind and body healthy. Some people say that the body should be renounced, that we should take some drugs and abandon our self intoxication. But this is not a yoga process. Krishna has given us nice food, fruit, grains, vegetable, and milk, and we can prepare hundreds and thousands of nice preparation and offer them to the Lord. Our process is to eat Krishna prasad and to satisfy the tongue in that way. But we should not be greedy and eat dozens of samosas, sweet balls, and rasgullas. No, we should eat and sleep just enough to keep the body fit, no more. It is stated, युक्त आहार विहरस्य युक्त चेतसः कर्मसु युक्ता स्वापनाबोधयस्य. Krishna has given us nice food, fruit, grains, vegetable, and milk, and we can prepare hundreds and thousands of nice preparation. Okay, we have already studied. Yukta ahara virasya, yukta chetsaya karmashu, yukta swapanavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukhaha. He who is temperate in its habits of eating, sleeping, and working and recreation can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Although we should minimize our eating and sleeping, we should not attempt this too rapidly at the risk of becoming sick. Because people are accustomed to eating voraciously, there are prescriptions for fasting. But we can reduce our sleeping and eating, but we should remain in a good health for a spiritual process. We should not attempt to reduce eating and sleeping too rapidly or artificially. When we advance, we will naturally not feel pain due to the reduction of this bodily or natural body process. In this respect, Raghunath Das Goswami offers a good example. Although a very rich man's son, Raghunath Das left his home to join Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he was the only son. Raghunath Das was very beloved of his father. Understanding that his son had gone to Jagannath Puri to join Lord Chaitanya, the father sent four servants with money to attend him. At first, Raghunath accepted the money, thinking, "Oh, since my father has sent all this money, I will accept it, invite all the sannyasis to feast." After some time, however, the feast came to an end. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then inquired from his secretary, Savrup Damodar, "Nowadays I don't receive any invitation from Raghunath. What was happened?" "That is because Raghunath had stopped accepting his father's money." "Oh, that is very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Raghunath was thinking, "Although I have renounced everything, I am still enjoying my father's money. This is hypocritical." Therefore, he has told the servants to go home and has refused the money. "So, how he is living?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu required. "Oh, he is standing on the step of the Jagannath temple, and when the priests pass him on their way home, they offer him some prasad. In this way, he is satisfied." "This is very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu commented. Regularly going to Jagannath temple, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would see Jagannath standing on the step. After a few days, however, he no longer saw him there. Therefore, the Lord commented to his secretary, "I am no longer see Raghunath standing on the temple step. He has given that up." Savrup Damodar explained, he was thinking, "Oh, I am standing here, just like prostitute, waiting for someone to come and give me food. No, I don't like this at all." "That's very nice," Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. "But how is he eating?" "Every day he is collecting some rejected rice from the kitchen and is eating that." To encourage Raghunath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day visited him. "Raghunath," the Lord said, "I hear that you are eating very palatable food. Why are you not inviting me?" Raghunath did not reply, but the Lord quickly found the place where he kept the rice. And the Lord immediately took some and began to eat it. "Dear Lord," Raghunath implored, "please do not eat this. It is not fit for you." "Oh no, why do you say it is not fit for me? It's Lord Jagannath Prasad." Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enacted this pastime just to discourage Raghunath from thinking, "I am eating this miserable, rejected rice." Through the Lord's encouragement, Raghunath Das Goswami reduced his daily quantity of food until he was finally eating only one pat of butter every other day. And every day he was also bowing down hundreds of times and constantly chanting the holy names. Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Nithabi Kalavasanti Kartu Kalavasanni Kartu. Although this is an excellent example of minimizing all material necessity, we should not try to imitate. It is not possible for ordinary man to imitate Raghunath Das Goswami, who was one of the six Goswamis as a highly elevated associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Each one of the six Goswamis is displayed a unique example of how one can advance in Krishna consciousness. But it is not our duty to imitate them. We should just try to follow as far as possible in their footsteps. If we immediately try to become like Raghunath Das Goswami by imitating him, we are sure to fail. Whatever progress we have made will be defeated. Therefore, the Lord says that there is no possibility of one becoming yogi if one eats too much or too little. The same moderation apply to sleep. Presently, I may be sleeping 10 hour day, but if I can keep myself fit by sleeping 5 hour, why sleep 10? As far as body is concerned, there are four demands: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. The problem with modern civilization is that it is trying to increase these demands, but they should be decreased instead. Eat what we need, sleep when we need, our health will be excellent. There is no question of artificial imitation. And what is the result of obtained by one who is temperate in his habits? यदा विनियतं चितं आत्मनि इवावतिष्ठते निष्फ्रास सर्वा कामभयो युक्ता इति उच्यते तदा. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid all material desire, he is said to have attained yoga. The perfection of yoga means keeping the mind in a state of equilibrium. Materially speaking, this is impossible. After reading a mundane novel once, you will not find to read it again. But you can read Bhagavad Gita 4 times a day, still not tire of it. You may chant someone's name a half hour or sing a mundane song 3 or 4 times, but before long this becomes tiresome. Hare Krishna, however, can be chanted day and night, and one never tire of it. Therefore, it is only through transcendental vibration that the mind can be kept in a state of equilibrium. When one's mental activities are thus stabilized, one is said to have attained yoga. The perfectional stage of yoga was exhibited by King Amrisha, who utilized all his senses in the service of Lord as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, King Amrisha first of all engaged his mind in the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Then, after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendental qualities of Lord, his hand in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing of the activities of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of the devotee, his sense of smell is smelling the scents of the lotus flower offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves offered to the temple of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desire in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendental activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. This is then is the perfection of yoga devoid of all material desires. If all our desire are for Krishna, there is a no scope of our material desire. All material desire is automatically finished. We don't have to try to concentrate artificially. All perfection is there in Krishna consciousness because it is on the spiritual platform. Being on the spiritual platform, this supreme yoga is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Therefore, there is no misgiving or material impediments. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.